So, this particular instrument is used for accurate determination of moisture content in samples and substances. So, determination of moisture content in substances is an important aspect in pharmaceutical and drug manufacturing industries, paper, wood, sugar and food industries, then oil refineries, pesticides and fertilizer units, etc. So, here in this particular auto titrometer, the unit has a complete control on automatic titration or automatic Karl Fischer titration. So, before I start to explain how we determine the moisture content, I would like to say that the name the Karl Fischer has originated from the name of the German scientist Karl Fischer, who first attempted to determine the moisture content in substances. Let me explain the different options that are present over the display of the instrument. One of the options is the excess moisture option. You can see the bulb glowing over here. So, whenever there is moisture present in the sample, this particular bulb glows, and once the titration starts and the moisture gets consumed with the KF reagent or Karl Fischer reagent, at the end of the titration, the bulbs towards the no moisture side will be glowing. Then there is a start option to start the titration, and there is a stop option for stopping it. Then there are some indications called as a run indication, which glow automatically when the titration is started, and then add indication which glows when we have to add the sample, and an end indication which glows at the end of the titration. And then we have a buzzer here, which from where we can hear a buzzer sound at the end of the titration. Then there are two knobs here. One is one knob is indicating the speed. So, by adjusting the speed, we can just set the magnetic stirrer speed with which the contents in the vessel can be stirred. And then there is a timer option which can be set in order to set the rate of flow of the Karl Fischer reagent into the vessel through the solenoid valve. So, there is a speed option in order to set the speed of the magnetic stirrer that is present inside the vessel, and then there is a timer option in seconds which is used to set the rate of flow of Karl Fischer reagent through the solenoid valve into the vessel. So, here you can see the titration vessel, which is of 200 ml capacity, it is having 3 inlets. One of the inlets is to place the sample, the other inlets is to place the solenoid valve through which the Karl Fischer reagent will be flowing into the added into the titration vessel into the contents. The other one is to hold the platinum electrode, which senses the responses. And then we have a reservoir bottle of 500 ml capacity, an airtight reservoir bottle of 500 ml capacity, which is holding the Karl Fischer reagent, and to it is attached the pressure filling auto zero burette with 0.05 ml resolution, you can see here, and the connectivity tubing also you can see from the burette into the solenoid valve into the titration vessel. And to the reservoir bottle is attached a rubber tubing with a rubber bellow through which we can pump in air, through which by doing so we can pass the Karl Fischer reagent from the reservoir bottle through this tubing into the burette, which has been already done, and the Karl Fischer reagent is now filled into the burette. Before I start the actual titration, let me tell what are the contents or composition of the Karl Fischer reagent that we are taking into the burette. So, Karl Fischer reagent is the reagent that we are using for titrating our sample. The composition of Karl Fischer reagent is iodine, sulfur dioxide, a buffer like imidazole, and a solvent like methanol. Initially, in place of imidazole, pyridine used to be used in the Karl Fischer reagent, but because of toxicity factors, nowadays less toxic materials like imidazole instead of pyridine has been added into the composition of Karl Fischer reagent. And coming to the principle on which actually the estimation of water content takes place is, when we start the titration, the iodine that is present in the Karl Fischer reagent reacts with the water content or moisture content that is present in the sample. Towards the end of the titration, the entire water content that is present in the sample gets reacted with iodine, and automatically we get the end point and the titration stops. Based on the amount of Karl Fischer reagent that has been consumed in the burette, we actually calculate the amount of moisture content that is present in the test sample. We also have an equivalent factor, like 1 ml of the Karl Fischer reagent is equivalent to 5 mg of water approximately. So, based on this, we calculate the amount of water that is present in the test sample. Start the titration procedure. First, we have to take around 25 ml of dry methanol into the titration vessel. So, we are having dry methanol of Fischer Scientific brand. We have used that methanol or taken that methanol into the reaction vessel, and first I have to check if at all any moisture is present in the dry methanol. So, for that I will be starting the instrument. When I press the start button, the titration automatically starts, and you can see the Karl Fischer reagent automatically getting added up into the titration vessel. So, the add button is also glowing. If at all we want to add a sample, we can add the sample now. Otherwise, we can check for the moisture, that is if at all, if any moisture is present in methanol. So, when all the moisture that is present in methanol, if at all, is consumed, then immediately we will be getting the end button glowing and a buzzer sound. So, this indicates the end of the titration, and it is showing that there is no more moisture that is present in the dry methanol that we have taken, and we can also hear the buzzer sound. Now we can add the sample for which we want to test the moisture content. So now you can see the add button. So I am adding the milk sample, and you can check for the end of the titration when the end button goes. The initial reading is 5.7 ml of the KF reagent. At the end point, when this button goes, we can see the total KF reagent that has been consumed for the titration. So now the end button is glowing. It means that the titration has been completed and the entire moisture is consumed by the KF reagent, and you can hear the buzzer sound, and you can see all the LED lights that have been glowing towards no moisture. So there is no more moisture that is present. So this is the end of the titration. So I have to take the difference in the KF reagent that has been consumed. So I started the instrument. Now I am placing another sample, that is an ointment sample. The initial reading of KF reagent is 1.4. So I have placed an ointment base into it to check the moisture content of an ointment. Started the titration. So KF reagent is continuously getting added into the reaction vessel. Once the titration is completed, the end button will glow. This single button that is glowing towards the left hand side shows that there is moisture present in the sample. So when all the moisture is consumed except this bulb, all the other bulbs glow towards the no moisture side. So this is the end of the titration, and the burette value at the end point is 15.4 ml, and the amount of KF reagent consumed for the ointment sample is 13.9 ml, which is the difference between the final and the initial readings. So the water content percent in the samples can be calculated by using the formula SF into 100 by mg of test preparation, where S stands for the volume of the KF reagent that has been consumed during the titration, and F is the water equivalence factor of the reagent. So water content in the milk can be calculated by 35.8 into 5 into 100 by 205.8, where 35.8 is the amount of KF reagent that is consumed for the milk sample, and 5 is a water equivalent factor of KF reagent, and 205.8 is the weight of the milk sample that is taken considering its specific gravity value, because it is a liquid sample. Similarly, water content in the ointment sample can be calculated as follows, that is 13.9, which is the titer value or KF reagent that is consumed for the ointment, into 5 into 100 by weight of the sample, that is 200 mg. So coming to the results, in the milk sample we can see 87.3% of water content. As we all know that milk consists maximum amount of water content. The observations and the result also show that the milk is consisting of, the sample is consisting of 87.3% of water content, and usually the other 13% are fats and proteins. Similarly, the ointment sample also, we can see that the amount of moisture content is 34.75%. Usually ointments and creams consist of more than 20% of moisture content, and the other contents are the hydrocarbons, waxes, polyols, etc. So as per the results, we can see that the moisture content in milk has been calculated, as well as the moisture content in the ointments sample has also been calculated. Similarly, we can estimate the moisture content in different samples by using this procedure. So dear students, this is how we estimate the amount of moisture content present in substances, which is a very important quality control aspect in case of drug manufacturing units, food and textile industries, oil refineries and fertilizer units. Hope you find it useful and good. If you find it good, you